This is Pathologic 3, a narrative adventure game where you come from a science lab and you have to investigate this whole city and uncover everything it has to offer. So this is totally more pathologic. I hope and wished they would make this more mainstream, but as it stands, it's more pathologic too, and it's really amazing, by the way. It runs flawlessly, it's so responsive, it's actually so cool coming from Pathologic 2. Anyway, going into this game, think of this game as a book that you are playing. So think of it like Disco Elysium. It's a book that you are playing. You need to read so much dialogue and take it all in to make some progress. Now, obviously you can skip the dialogue, but you're going to be really stuck on what to do, and the dialogue has lots of answers. Currently, there is a demo for this on Steam, and that is what you are seeing right now. This demo is pretty lengthy, actually. You can spend a lot of time in it and uncover lots of mechanics that the game actually has to offer. So in the demo, there's a few ill people, and we're trying to investigate what's wrong with them and give them a diagnosis. You can talk to them and they're going to say a few things, and you can actually inspect the body and see for yourself, you know, is the skin yellow, are the spots, can you see any bad veins? And then you can ask them about it and they can be like, oh yeah, it's because of X, Y, and Z. And then you know, okay, so it's not part of the diagnostics, it's something that they've done in their personal life that's caused it. But sometimes you just don't know what it is, and actually you're going to have to investigate further. So I asked this person, you know, I don't know much about anything that's wrong with you, and you don't seem to know anything too, so I'm going to go to your house. He gives us the location for the house. We make a crazy trip over there, and then we can actually investigate his house, see where the mold is, if there's mold, where the problems are coming from. And that's just one area of the gameplay. Actually going to the house, you've got to explore so many environments. And by the way, the demo opens up really strong. If I had to put it into words, it's basically Stalker 2's environmental craziness in Pathologic. Also, one thing that I will mention is that the city is set up into different zones, but you don't need to go to each individual zone to get to your location. There's like a fast travel so you can skip a zone. It's really, really nice. The voice acting here is really good too. Not everything is voice acted. Actually, most of the game isn't voice acted, but when you talk to someone, they might say something to you that's completely irrelevant to the dialogue, and so it makes it so you're listening to one thing and then you're reading another thing. It's pretty confusing and really hard to understand, but it's been with Pathologic now since forever. This is a very, very in-depth game, by the way. There's a few things that's really cool that stand out when you're doing these checks, and you know, if you see yellow on the arms, you can go into your notebook, select they've got yellow in on the skin, and you can do that for everything that you do. So you all log it in the notebook, and then the notebook will tell you, right, so let's for example say you've got a rash and you've got yellowing of the skin. It's going to give you a few diagnostics with those symptoms, and you've got to choose one and make sure it's correct. Now, knowing whether it's correct or not, you've got to do a lot more talking or experimenting with what's happening. Just like the previous games too, there's also little combat mechanics, but this is no GTA. You can't just pull out your gun. You can only really pull it out in unsafe districts. You can't just have it out there. There's also a lot of loot in this game. For example, consumables. You can just take a bunch of consumables, put them in your backpack, and then you can apparently hotbar them, but I didn't find a way to do that. You can go into your inventory anyway and consume them. They will have different stat buffs and only for a certain amount of time. This game is incredibly based around time. Everything you do, you've got to be conscious of the time. Even when you're checking these people, it will say it's going to skip time by this much for doing it. Everything is based on the day system, just like the old Pathologics. I 100% recommend checking out this demo. It is more Pathologic, but you don't need to play Pathologic 1 or 2. But if you have played those, you know what you're getting into. As long as you do it with an open mind and you say, right, this is a book that I'm playing, that's the mindset you have to go in with. And you can explore. There's so much good stuff here, but you have to read so much dialogue, just like the old games. So it's definitely more Pathologic. In a really good way. They've actually made so much improvements. It runs great. It looks actually so much better than Pathologic 2. It's honestly incredible. I was so surprised. Everything looks amazing and runs great, and it's super responsive to play. I can't wait for the full release of this one. I think it's going to be really good. The demo, the prologue that they give you, is so surprising. It's so surprisingly good. If you want to try out the demo, it's on Steam. There's also a link for it in the description. Also, if you like what you're seeing, maybe you don't want to play the demo, but you like what you're seeing, just wishlist it. It always helps out the developers, and this is like a nice indie game too. So again, beyond impressed, beyond amazed, go ahead and check this game out. And I thank you for watching this video and thank you for your time. And I hope to see you in the future. Goodbye.